welcome to the Screen Podcast. It is day 183 of Cannes. Just kidding. It's day 9, but we all know how it feels. Thank you for joining us, though. I hope everybody is holding up okay. My name is Wendy Mitchell. I'm a contributing editor at Screen, and I'm joined by senior reporter, UK and International, Ben Dalton, and our French correspondent, Rebecca Leffler. Bonjour.
Bonjour, Wendy. Bonjour, Ben.
Bonjour. How's it going?
Hey. So today we're going to talk a little bit about just some of the overall mood at the festival, and also Ben Dalton, unofficial chief party correspondent for Screen, will take us through some of the social highlights. I might even have, not been such a stick in the mud and gone to a few myself. But Rebecca, why don't we start with you? Just some reflections, particularly from the French industry. What's the mood been like at the festival this year?
It's funny, I was just with a French producer and I was kind of asking him, what's the mood? What's the vibe? He said, the mood is there is no mood. And I really think that we're feeling that, there have been festivals, look, right after COVID, Cannes, there was a mood. It was a bad mood. It was, fear and, trepidation, also the economic crunch. And then I think there have been times where, the jubilance of and debauchery of yesteryear, and we don't have that. But it's just kind of somewhere, as the French would say, meh, bof. Like, it's just kind of somewhere in the middle. And then, of course, Wendy, it would not be a Cannes Film Festival without a little bit of a scandale. It started off slow, but, the night before the festival, a bunch of around 600 people in the industry, celebrities and big industry people signed an open letter criticizing Vincent Bollore. What they're saying is he's a shareholder of Canal saying that he has a really tight grip on the industry, accusing him of having more right-wing control. So, and then Maxime Saada, who's the CEO of Canal just came out and said he was going to blacklist or not work with any of the people who signed it. So it's caused kind of a lot of divisions. And, you know what? I think we save this for another podcast to come, but it is interesting because it's not just a French story. It's definitely something that brings up universal questions that we're seeing, obviously, in this age of consolidation all over the world, particularly in the US. So I think it's something to explore. But for the moment, the show must go on. And it is. So, the French, it's really funny because it's really easy to find them. They have been in the same place actually for the past 25 years.
Canal Plus, yeah.
Chez Alban Claret, she has now a rooftop on the JW Marriott. And if you want to find anyone in the entire French film industry, they're either having lunch there by day. She has junkets and film parties, but really between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m., anyone who is anyone in the French world, Marion Cotillard, Guillaume Canet, Gilles Lelouch, Adèle Exarchopoulos, Léa Seydoux, they're all there. But really, it's between those hours that also, directors and producers, and there have been so many films that are made in Cannes, particularly there.
Wow. And Rebecca, have you been on said rooftop? You sound like you know what you're talking about.
I do know what I'm talking about. There's a pool. There's always some musician will spontaneously break out in song. It's really, like anything French, it's kind of like you need to be in the know, or if they don't know you, you're not getting in, even if you're, but then once you're in, and that's how the French film industry is. It's very much built upon, relationships. So
I love it. I have not been there. I don't think I could get in. I'm not going to try. I do not need to be in a swimsuit in front of the French film industry.
No one's wearing swimsuits. There's just a pool on the rooftop.
There's a pool as a sort of backdrop. Okay, I got you.
Because it's très chic.
Okay, très chic. Ben, as I mentioned, you are one of the social butterflies representing Screen, and people really, this is part of the reason we come to Cannes and don't just sit in our houses watching Netflix. We are seeing films but we're also really socializing. It's a moment for the industry to come together, to network, to connect. Ben, it was funny. 2 nights ago at the Global Production Awards, you and I were talking to the UK agent, Christina Pickworth. And she was telling us her Cannes philosophy, or no, it's kind of a mantra that it's like you can do meetings, you can do films, or you can do parties. But you have to only do 2, because if you try to do all 3, you're going to fall apart. So Ben, I don't think you've made it into many films this year, but I know you've been to some parties. So, yeah, kind of why is it that you like to? I mean, also you're getting stories when you're out at parties, right?
Look, I think Christina's mantra has a lot of truth to it. Regular listeners to the pod who heard me maybe on the first episode on day one may hear a slight extra huskiness in my voice on day 9.
You've been
That's fine.
smoking the Gauloises or something. My God.
I've been shouting over some rather loud party music on occasion. These events are fun, and they're a chance for people to let off steam. They're a chance for film teams to celebrate the work they've done. And there is a side to them where you might meet someone at these parties and, you might make a connection that helps on your next project and the next thing you're doing. But first of all, they're a good time. And I think maybe there was, with a lack of big American films, sometimes it's those films who throw the big parties. There was a big party for Elvis a few years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe some people were thinking, where am I going to be going of an evening? I would say those people need not have worried, because there's been enough to fill the time with.
Yeah. What have been some highlights or even some lowlights, if you want to name and shame?
So there was, early in the last week, there was a good party for Jane Schoenbrun's Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma, with no movie party this year, but movie working on that film. They put a lot of effort into this one, and this was a sort of classic Cannes beach party, themed
Nice
cocktails.
cocktails at that party.
The final
And
girl
some
cocktail.
pommes frites, which I needed at the time.
Indeed, indeed. And so I think that was a good one to sort of kick off the week for early on for a lot of people. I'll certainly, I credit the team of Clarissa, who at the Magnum Beach venue, even though they had a VIP area available to them, they weren't using it. Sophie Okonedo, David Oyelowo, they were getting stuck in. They were on the dance floor, shoes off, some of them, with everyone else. So well done to them for not squirreling themselves away in another part of the party, as happens sometimes. But I have to say, I do have a favourite. And this was at the start of this second week. Now, Nicholas Winding Refn's Her Private Health started screening at 10:30.
Yeah.
And so with you adding the pomp and circumstance and some meticulously timed applause, the party didn't start until midnight. But
No good
Team
party.
Neon... Rebecca, you know what you're saying. Team Neon wasted no time in getting the party going. We had classics of the scene, espresso martinis, cheese wheel pasta, and a hot young cast all there. So Charles Melton, Sophie Thatcher, Christine Froseth, Diego Calva, other young stars were not in the film, Micah Monroe, and man of the moment, Jordan Firstman, who, unsurprisingly perhaps, looked in quite a good mood, having earlier that day sold his film to A24 for something in the region of $17 million. So
I love
decent-
that. Yeah, but I love that Jordan obviously sold his film to A24 and still came to the Neon party. He's still a hot ticket. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. It's all still friends, amongst that. And so, even though this was a later start, by the end you had people dancing on tables, twirling napkins, maybe even letting off fire extinguishers. It felt like the kind of Cannes party that we were told doesn't happen anymore, and there it was.
In
So,
this age of
well done to
social
that team.
media. Yeah, in this age
That
of social media,
sounds
do you find
great.
that people are still partying like
Yeah,
they used
were
to?
people afraid of being TikToked in there?
Yeah.
It didn't feel like that at all. It felt like people were just there to have a good time, which, 6 or 7 days into the festival by that point, I think people were, looking to let off a bit of steam on that evening. And I would say they achieved that. And that's with other parties going on across the town every evening as well. I know, Wendy, you've been checking out a few yourself.
I have. Thank you, Ben. On Monday night is traditionally the Nordic dance party. I'm not a good dancer, but what they do is they get teams from different festivals to do like a DJ battle. And they're just picking playlists. They're not really on a super dex or anything. But, the team from Sundance played Rhythm is a Dancer, and that got a lot of people moving. Sarajevo played Take Me Out by Franz Ferdinand. And this was on the Monday night when all the deluge of rain came. And I thought, oh my gosh, nobody's going to go to this party this year. You have to go out in the rain to get there. It was one of the best years of it. People, like you said, by that Monday night, people want to relax, to let off steam. People were boogieing. One of my favorite moments, The team from the Berlinale played I Was Made for Lovin' You by Kiss. Kind of an old school vibe, but people went crazy. People of all ages, you know, from probably 20 somethings up to like 60 somethings. Everybody was united. And some of the teams send like more junior people, but it was Tanya Meissner, head of the EFM. I saw her boogieing away behind the decks. So, I knew that was going to be one of my Cannes moments.
And how is it that every Nordic festival has ended up with talented DJs? What's in the
I
water?
don't know.
It's very impressive.
But it gives us another. Oh, and I think the team from CPH Docs won. I heard some sour grapes this morning from teams who didn't win. They say it was rigged. I'm not getting involved in that kind of politics. A totally different vibe, as you know, ad nauseum. I like the Nordics. Denmark did a private dinner for about 100 people to celebrate their new tax incentive. And it was like a seated dinner where we had sort of assigned seats and you got sort of targeted to sit with certain people. And that was the first moment when I had conversations in Cannes that was beyond like, when did you get here? Where are you staying? When are you leaving? I mean, we just repeat this, what have you seen? But I actually sat down. I was sitting, not as intended with a Danish person, but I sat with Jeff McNaughton from Toronto. And we got to talk for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes about our lives and real life. And those kind of Cannes moments, I think, also really recharge us. I have to also say, shout out to Candice Duquette at Screen. The Global Production Awards were also on Monday night, and those went down really well.
Hot ticket.
But it was a hot ticket. I mean, people were shut out because there was such a long queue to get in. But people love the music. And what I'm going to do, listeners, mark my words, I'm going to somehow, when I find time, Candice has given me her playlist. I'm going to put it on Spotify. So look for something called like Cannes GPA's Screen 2026, and I'll put that on Spotify. Rebecca, have you been dancing anywhere, or are you in more of the chilled cocktail scene?
You know what my favorite party in Cannes is? It is the Majestic Lobby. It is the Croisette.
Oh.
I was on my way here just now, and I ran into my best friend, Juliette Binoche. Obviously a fan of all of our interviews with her in Screen International, she recalled. And so she was, she was saying, last year she was the jury president, of course. So this year she was just completely, très chic, of course, and just chill, going to a lunch at the CNC Beach, just, not a care in the world. And, conversations like that I think are really, really wonderful. And other than that, you're just in the Majestic Lobby. It's frenetic. You've never seen anything like it in your life. There, I'm always bumping into influencers wearing really wild gowns, taking photos of selfies on the stairs. But like Natasha Lyonne just hanging by the pool and holding court, and for you and then there's all these people, every French celebrity. I won't even list them, but they're just, Geraldine Nakache and Olivia Nakache, and they're just walking by. A few cast members from the White Lotus who I think signed NDAs to reveal who they are or what they're doing. But it's just a really it's when you're there, it's just so normal. It's like, Ben, any of these parties, you're going, but then when you look back at it, it's like, wow, I just ran into everyone I've ever met in my life in this lobby.
And the Majestic.
It's very much, it's the place to be seen, as you say, lots of influencers and, a certain amount of attention, but it's also the place to be. Well, for these 2 weeks, it is a place you do, stay in touch with everyone.
Yeah, it's great that Screen's office is upstairs there, so we can sort of walk through even when we're busy and maybe
Screen's
see a
office,
moment.
Canal is there. And Meta now has a place there. So you're seeing all these people who are going in and out from those companies too. But obviously Screen's office is the place to be, the real place to be. And Screen's Garden this year, another hotspot.
Yeah. Another hotspot, Froze. I wanted to remind people we are not doing any more print dailies in Screen as of this morning. So but you can still follow along, of course, at Screen Daily. And keep reading. That jury grid is online. And I know people crave it. But I'm also just really want to remind people that, not everybody from Screen has left town, because Ben and Rebecca, you are sticking around. I'm here till Friday. Let's talk about a few things that might be coming up. before this festival wraps. I mean, hopefully we'll see some more deals and things.
And films.
I mean, and films.
Films.
Oh, there are
The
films here.
well,
Yes,
not
thank you for the
particularly.
reminder.
The marketing might be over, but the film, the festival, there's, Minotaur and I mean, a lot of these films haven't played yet, and so we're
Yeah,
ending with the birthday party, literally, the
yeah,
Les Mis'
yeah.
birthday party, the last film. So, no, there's so much still to come, so I think that's what makes it
Yeah.
exciting.
And there have been
As
films I remember in past years that like debut on the Friday and go on to win the Palm. So just because some people have left town doesn't mean this festival is slowing down.
As you said up top, Wendy, I've maybe not seen as many films as some, but as these last few days will be, I'm very keen to catch some of the second plays of some of them. But also, we have Lucas Dant's Coward, which is in the latter days of the festival. This is a festival darling, and I think there's a lot of interest as to, okay, why has it got this position in the festival, and is this, going to be a sort of late stage contender for the Palm? So hopefully, I can find a ticket for that.
Well,
Good. We'll
Ben,
try to
the
get you
last
one, Ben.
play, they show all the films in competition on right
Yeah,
before
they
the closing
rerun.
ceremony.
Yeah.
You can just go and sit in the Lumiere from 8:30 a.m. until closing ceremonies, which we will be covering. We will be there.
Yes.
So
Great. And
stay
well,
tuned.
Rebecca, you might be at the closing ceremony with the good and the great.
We'll be at
I
the closing
shall
ceremony.
be avec les chiens at the
Ah, pour la
Palm
pomme de dog.
Dog. Always on the jury of the Palm Dog. I did not start the Palm Dog. That's Mr. Toby Rose, who's been running it for more than 20 years. It is such a bit of fun. It's on the Friday afternoon. We've got some strong contenders this year. And I'm going to mention one, but Dominga Sotomayor from Chile, her film is called La Perra, which means the dog. This film is a stray dog and a woman's relationship. There's puppies. I mean, I think the jury's being quite swayed, but there's some other strong contenders. I think there's a dog in Goodbye Cruel World. There's a dog in Hope. So there's a dog in the Clio Barnard that plays a good role. So watch this space.
Yeah.
We'll be barking
Who cares
mad on
about the
Friday in
Palme
Cannes.
d'Or? I mean, the Palme Dog. I mean, maybe the Oscars really, the Academy really needs to
Yeah.
add a category.
You say this, Rebecca, but a few years ago, Anatomy of a Fall won the Palme Dog for Messi and then went on to win the Palme d'Or. And then Messi, of course, was sat at the Oscars. So, this
Yes.
is not just frivolous.
Right. I mean, we see
And Ben,
what
anything
happens.
else you're looking forward to? Will you see some films? You said Coward. You hope to get a ticket.
Absolutely, and there's still the films, and so therefore for me, there's also still the press conferences, and that's another place where I spend a bit of my time. So there's several people in those I'll be speaking to. We've had highlights from those already, and then Tilda Swinton is coming into town in a couple of days to give a rendezvous talk about her incredibly impressive body of work, her career. But we also know Tilda is often happy to discuss the state of the industry, the state of festivals, and even the state of the world. So we'll be listening out for that. And then Unifrance has a very chic, as Rebecca would say, dinner. This is in the middle of the week where they're celebrating their 10 talents to watch,
Yeah,
which
we
includes
vote for those. Like I'm part of the committee that selects them, and it's really every year it's one of my favorite things because it's really, it's very screen to celebrate the talents of tomorrow. And these are, what's crazy is I ran into recently Adam Bessa and Natalie Meliti, who won for The Little Sister. She won the Best Actress prize last year, and here she is in Cannes because she has another film. And so it's kind of like watching our children grow up. We select them, and it's really so. Yeah, Ben, you'll get to meet the class of 2026. Some bright, promising young faces as well. That's what's so exciting about Con, I think, is, not just the returning veterans. It's really the finding of new
Yeah.
talent.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned Jordan Firstman. I mean, I was saying to Matt the other day, that was a film not on anybody's tracking list. We go for years, it feels like we're tracking what's going to be in Cannes this year. That wasn't on anybody's radar in that way. And now he's the talk of Cannes. And that's the
Yeah,
magic of this place, isn't it?
the magic. But you know who's not coming? Can we talk about our friend
Babs.
Babs Barbara Streisand has
But
announced
it's a health issue. It was a knee
it's a
problem, I
health
believe.
issue. She has a knee injury. But I can't say I'm not disappointed.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were looking forward to seeing her, but, I think here's when we officially invite Babs to the Screen Garden 2027. Come have a frosé with us. We are waiting for you. But like we said, this festival is not over by any means. So keep reading all the reviews, the jury grid, the coverage. And even tomorrow morning, we'll be back with another podcast. No rest for the wicked. But thank you, Ben. Thanks, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Thanks to everybody who's tuned in to the Screen Podcast for all these 9 episodes, and do catch up on any episodes you missed. Big thanks to the whole team at Screen who helps us put these podcasts together, and of course to our pod producer Ellie Calnan and head of digital Orlando Parfit. We'll see you again tomorrow morning.